we're just gonna we're just gonna hang out and see what happens. I'll also be a lot more willing to like get like links and media for us to watch together. I mean, I'm really not used to like casual streaming and stuff, but like I'm down. We'll figure it out. But I also have Pokemon Infinite Fusion, which I have open, and I'll probably hop to it a little later in the stream. But if you haven't played that game at all, it's a free fan-made game where you can smash Pokemon together, and it does some really funny stuff. Um, but otherwise, um, I definitely want to get into Pika Labs here, where we're going to be animating with AI. And this is kind of a unique thing for me, particularly because like after the one of my comics blew up online, the one of the guys at Pika Labs reached out and they were like, "Hey, you wanna like have like a label free account and stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, give me all this stuff. I want all the superpowers, thank you." And those guys are great. I really like Pika Labs, and I'm going to eventually link an invite here. I'll probably just grab it now, so I'm not forgetting it or anything like that. I have to keep up my end of the bargain, get people interested in what they got going on and stuff. And I'm pretty conscious of that stuff actually. Like one of the reasons that I'm not like super advertising about like my use of AI, especially on Reddit, is specifically because I don't want to be a billboard for AI companies. Just because I use their stuff really liberally doesn't mean that I like, want to be a free ad for them, right? So I don't want to like, plaster Midjourney's logo all over my stuff, or at the very least end up being an ad for them because I like to make high quality stuff. Like I like to make stuff that makes people very curious and interested, or or otherwise creates a certain reaction. And I do think it taints it by making it a big old ad for whatever AI companies used in order to make it. I don't expect people to be advertising for Adobe because they posted a comic they made with Photoshop. Same logic, at least for me. Feel free to argue with me on that one. But the I'll just open this up real quick. I gotta get into uh, a message here real quick. Where is he? Just gonna search. There he is. So um, this is going to be just in the chat here on Twitch. I'm also going to post it in my Discord, and you can find my Discord by going to victorgnarly.com and then clicking on the Discord link on the in the socials. Um, the that invite there is how you can get into Pika Labs and start messing around with some of the stuff I'll be messing with today. So yeah, all right, cool. So at this point, I'm actually going to hop us right into Pika here. So I need to click on this button. Let's do yeah, let's do this one here. Um, so the thing about Pika is it's very similar to Midjourney, right? It's another Discord bot. But at least for me, I'm gonna be able to prompt stuff that in a channel that you guys don't have access to, but you guys can check out what I'm doing, and you know, um, if Jesse or any of the other guys from Pico Labs sees this and stuff, if I'm doing anything I shouldn't be doing, you please let me know. But I am otherwise streaming in a mode that should hide usernames and all that kind of stuff. So um, yeah. So what we're looking at here is the public feed of the super collaborators, and the thing is that it, just like Midjourney, um, everything is public. You know, like it's technically every image can be found, and you could find the root of whoever made it. It's it's one of the videos that I posted on my YouTube channel, the Kevin Bacon cooking bacon being my first prompt I ever sent to Midjourney. Um, I get into that. I get into the fact that these are just insanely big image libraries now that are just publicly available. Um, more photos than has ever been taken by human beings is inside each one of these black boxes, right? So we're we're opening another black box here. Um, this black box, however, is from PikeLabs, and they specialize in like video animation, particularly. And I say animation specifically because unlike Runway ML, which is Gen 1 and Gen 2 video, there's a there's something special about Pico Labs, particularly when it comes to being able to replicate 2D animation. Um, it's not always going to work. I mean, most of this stuff is a bit of a gamble, right? But it's definitely worth doing because it's really interesting what kind of results you can get off of a couple different commands that are in here. So inside of my Discord, there is a channel called 1930s expressionism, which was something that we did on one of the streams earlier. And there is all sorts of really crazy imagery that we had built up with that as we explored this particularly haunting world that was generated. You'll notice that horror is kind of an easy entry when it comes to AI video, and it's just because it's unsettling. You're leading into that unsettlingness, um, and I honestly think it's kind of a big old narrative excuse, and I don't really like it. It's something that I personally like. If you're gonna do horror and stuff like that, it's like the horror needs to be so intentional. While this is complete chaos horror when you don't control it properly. So like what we're seeing here is like all sorts of really like at least to me it's just the building blocks of some sort of story and the one that we came up with or somebody posted while we were streaming was a naturalist ruins a corporate boardroom meeting. It's just like he's an evil naturalist comes into hurt all the goody two shoes corporate companies. Very I guess Ayn Rand, joking. Yeah, I definitely am gonna run a couple of these. So the way that this works is we grab like let's just say I've already done this one. I didn't really like that. Let's stick with the naturalist here. Um let's grab this one here and definitely this one. I want to grab any of these crowd shot ones because they're definitely going to produce like very interesting movement from so many subjects. You'll recognize pretty quickly that when it comes to Pika Labs, they're all about it's all about like being able to gauge the amount of motion that you want. And then finding those nuggets of like, oh wow, it animated an entire, you know, uh believable thing like happening. Like, you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, but okay, that should be good for now. We have a couple of these. So I'm gonna hop on over to Pika Labs. And when we were streaming, Kinky was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go downstairs and start yelling at people, or just start talking to people on the other voice channels." And I was like thinking it was like a building that you're running to. This Discord's gonna turn into like a neighborhood, I think. But it, when it comes to uh, let's see here. So we can now write uh, animate, which is like the way to do it without prompting anything. It just kind of relies on image interrogation. And we could just drag and drop these into here. And I'm actually just going to run an animate on each one of these and see what we kind of get out of it by default. Um, the reason I like relying on image interrogation is that, and I do this for Photoshop too, is that oftentimes the words that you write become such strong limiters to its understanding or context of what you're basically you're limiting the data set super hard right now whenever you're doing these kind of in painted prompting. and I personally anyway, like I see a lot more results that I like when I rely on the machine mind to at least get started on this, you know. And so I am just sending a bunch of these over, and over time they will come in as I'm sending these. I'm not sure if I'm going to run into a limit or not, or if I have a limit that's arbitrarily different than your alls would be if you click that link there. Um, but the only thing I know is that some of the results we get out of this is going to be spooky in how good these are here. So you could see as I'm going through all these, the only thing I'm doing is writing slash animate and dragging it into there. Um, there is like advanced camera controls now, um, which we'll be able to have. We now have a remix button. Like everything is becoming more familiar because I feel like input from users like moi focusing on film direction has been a pretty big motivator for these guys to lean into imagining that the output is a camera, you know. um it's at this point we have like three more of these good to go, or that are being processed right now. So I'm going to scroll on up, and you can see that we kind of have like, these videos that we can play. Um, Now, most likely, it's going to be some pretty subtle movements, and that was pretty close to what I expected. So, like, what happens if I don't think full screen is going to work for you guys very well because of my setup here. So, what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to have to download these and then open them. So, I'll give that a try real quick. Okay. So, I got to open them down here. Okay. And then, so if I go to maybe tablet only, yeah. Okay. So we can see on this one here, and it's a little annoying that we have the bar on the bottom there. I should probably find a different player for these kind of things for these videos. But it was able to infer that, this is a subject that is a person that, is walking or seeing the scene. The thing is that on its own, these animate functions rely a lot more on figuring out who is the subject and keeping the animation around that. At least in my experience, what we can do is we can actually force it to, let's see here. Yeah, this one here. We can actually force it to have more motion in it. So I can hit the remix here, and this lets us actually write a prompt for what's happening here. Um, So I'm just going to, you know, write hyphen motion and then 4, which is like the maximum amount, and this is probably going to make it go a bit nuts. But the depending on the codes that you send it, right, will let you also like control the camera and all that stuff. So right now it's rendering that with no additional information on the prompt. It's all just me telling it, all right, make it move more. So we'll go on to the next one while that's rendering. Um, so with this one here, did we get anything interesting? Oh yeah, it's a bit like a stage play, and it's kind of leaning into that a bit, so that's pretty cool. I'm not going to open each one of these, I don't think. Well, we can probably do that. Let's just do that. I'll just delete all these files when I when I get done here. Um, yeah, so we have this kind of like stage show and stuff on this one, which is pretty cool. Um, and now with this one here, this is pretty neat. So it's there's like this kind of like subtle like tentacle movement on some of the walls here too. But it's really neat to see her like walking down the steps or towards the camera, right? So if we wanted to, we can grab the last frame of this video and then run that as another Pico render and then kind of continue this video. So we'll save that for the back burner as an idea. Let's open this one here, and I'm actually just gonna save it before playing them in the player here. Ooh. All right. Wow. We got some coordinated dancing going on here. I'll open this up in tablet here and mute myself. That's what I'll do. I'll leave this one muted so you guys don't get me in the way of that. Or can I just be on like the edge here? Yeah, let's do that. Now it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's like we're watching it together. Cool. Um, so yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see that like La Bamba sort of like dancing, right? So that's pretty cool. Um, let's see this one here. Ooh, all right. Yeah, this is definitely like we're getting into like this is a big band show nightmare, right? So like you're uh maybe it's a film noir and you're in the middle of a like a really dicey situation. Your wife wants to divorce you and also and you're a detective and there's there's some like spooky voodoo stuff going on that you can't explain, and these are the nightmares that you're having. Oh yeah, like that's what I'm getting from this. And so all these videos I'm going to be uploading to the Discord so that other people can like edit them and turn them into things if they want to. Um, like I've said before, I don't take any ownership of this stuff. I just find it really fascinating and fun to make. All right, so let's go to the next one here. This one I'm particularly curious how it came out because it's like of people diving into the water. Oh, okay, so it's they're just gonna keep on doing that dance. So here's the thing. Now what we can do is we can um, come on up and open uh, this one here. Yeah. So what we can do is we can go to remix again on here, and then we can go like coordinated uh swim dance. Like what is the actual name of that? Let me look that up really quick. Synchronized swimming. That's it. That's what it is. Okay. Synchronized swimming. Um, so we'll say synchronized swimmers. Synchronized swimming. Um, is it like a stage? Like what do you call like the act of synchronized swimming? Like um, hmm. Okay. I just put it in the STA and it's like standing, stack, lift, stair. Okay, that doesn't help me. I'm just gonna do synchronized swimming show, and we'll just go with that. Um, and we'll see how that one comes out later. Okay, cool. I'll help myself back over here. Okay. Um, so we have another one with a large crowd here. Let's check this one out. Oh, we got some mimes like talk. Okay, so like the mimes can't be talking, right? Like they're not allowed to. This is the one place where they're allowed to. It's like um, some hole in the wall in France. um, just that's where they do all their coordination and planning. As a singular, you know, as a singular organism. There you go. All right, cool. That one's fun. Um, let's see here. And keep in mind, like we'll rerun all these or some of these or whatever, and we'll just kind of try to see if there's like an interesting starting point that we can go from without even like trying to force some idea down our. This is part of the reason I love doing this stuff is because the exploration side of it is where I get a lot of ideas, not all of them, but I do get a lot of them just by letting wacky things happen on their own. All right, let's check this one out. Oh, yeah, it's pretty dependent on the face there, but I know that I'm gonna want to rerun that one, so I'm actually gonna hit reroll on that already. Let's check this one out here. This one is a bit of a different aspect ratio. Okay. So you'll notice this a lot too, that sometimes there's just almost like no motion at all, right? And we can actually not only force motion, but we can also force the camera. So let's do the camera on this one here. Um, so I'm gonna come into here, hit the remix button here, and then I'm gonna write camera, and then we're gonna write pan right. Um, and then let's give him an action here as well, so we can say like uh mm, walking by the riverside, and just kind of encourage something here. See what happens. All right, so we got another one here. Quack. Oh, it just kind of oh, there's a little guy that pops up in the middle there. So this one, I'm not really too surprised that it's just kind of like lost it, because there's a lot going on that doesn't make sense on face value, because it's a painting. It's people looking at a painting or a large sculpture on the wall. So I'll skip this one for now. Not too surprised on that one. This one's the naturalist who should be arguing at like kind of a court or boardroom. Oh, look at that. That's really fun. What's neat about this, when we start to incorporate in painting, um, I'll have a new comic out probably Tuesday. So like, I have to be very considerate of post frequency, because when my comics blow up, real, they can sometimes upset people. So um, if I post too frequently, as well as it's against the rules, by the way, like you're not supposed to post more than 2 or 3 times a week. Um, but if the post frequency is too high, or I otherwise am just kind of dumping too much content, um, that's what like my Instagram and all that stuff is really for. I don't really use those services, but because I don't like social media, but I'll definitely dump as much stuff as I can onto them. Sure. I don't use Twitter. If the unless somebody says I only use Twitter, that's like the only way I'll communicate with people, which is insane, but okay. That's the only time I'll use Twitter. Um, Otherwise, I would much rather just not be looking at any social media whatsoever. Um, but yeah, this is fun. Within painting, we're gonna be able to like give him a different like mouth shape to start the phrasing or wording, so we can make him more yelling, or you know, being rambunctious or otherwise, just by directing the face in this. But it's interesting that it kind of like animated some of the background people as well. Um, when we re-roll this one, it'll be interesting to compare later, because you'll be able to see that there's what it's able to infer from the pictures is pretty amazing. So, all right, let's open another one here. Ooh, we got our first re-roll here. So this one here was with motion 4 turned on, and I didn't put any camera actions or anything like that. It's just really encouraging whatever it does believe it would be have motion, it has motion, right? And this one is actually a little bit better than the previous one, only because the motion that's being replicated here is pretty subtle. It's just her turning her hip, you know. So that's pretty cool. We'll save that one. Um, then hey, it's Tim. I actually know this guy. He's I won't blast his username on here, but yeah. Hey, theoretical. You're in my video stream. This is fun. All right, so I got another reroll here. This one is the synchronized swimming prompt that we added to the other animate here. So let's open that one here. Oh, okay, so it made them like they're already in the water, right? It's so we need to re-roll that one again, or sorry, remix that one. But this time I am going to write, um, let's see here. Synchronized swimming show, jumping into the pool. Okay, let's just throw all those words in there, and then I'm gonna put camera zoom in. I think that's the right phrasing. This sometimes right now you have to be pretty specific. There's no buttons, right? It's not like Midjourney in that way. You have to write everything. Um, but we'll see if that worked. Here in a minute. So let's go to the next one here. Just as a reminder, these were all generated during one of my previous streams on Midjourney. They were, I'm a volunteer teacher there. I stream there to kind of build exposure on specifically making original characters because I'm getting really freaking sick of seeing Disney derivative prompts and honestly just a complete lack of creativity when it comes to so many images that are being made on Midjourney. Only 8%, or at least that was the last statistic that I read, that only 8% of the images that Midjourney generates ever get seen by more than the person who generated it. You know, um, that's a lot of garbage. A lot of stuff people just don't care about or don't want anymore. And eventually, we're gonna have to figure out what to do with all that garbage. But I what I what I mostly want to do is change the behavior of people. I want to get them to start thinking like creative people because it means that they will stop making garbage. They'll stop making trash. And the only way to do that is by understanding what a subjective derivative is. Um, a subjective derivative is where whenever we're generating anything, we're not relying on proper names. We're not going to make a Studio Ghibli, unless I want to pay homage to something, right? And like I'm really specifically trying to replicate that in order to critique it or otherwise, praise it. I only use technical terminology whenever I'm prompting stuff. And it may sound a bit silly or excessive, but honestly, that's how you avoid plagiarism with AI. You just think of it as a film tool. You think of it as something that is reliant on your technical description of things as opposed to I want to smash Star Wars and Rugrats together or some other dumb idea. I'm just being straightforward with you all. Like this is how you avoid plagiarism. This is how you otherwise um, make truly original content with AI. Um, there's in my tutorial, which you can get to at victorgnarly.com. In my tutorial, I discuss multiple things about film, but one of them is that there's something called a log line, and a log line is like your one sentence pitch. Like it's not even just your elevator pitch. It's like the thing that you say like in order to initially hook people or hook a producer or whatever. And the log line you can look at it as a prompt, right, for your entire movie. And the thing is that if your prompt is it's Lord of the Rings but in space or whatever, then that is a lot less interesting or a lot less there's a lot less possibilities with that idea rather than saying it's a fantasy adventure in space. Like just even relying entirely on genre or an era will be far more interesting in terms of results. If you do that. Hey, Slime Cleric, thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, we're getting into some 1930s expressionism here. So we have a whole bunch of prompts that we made, and we're gonna be animating them here. So you're more than welcome to like throw me ideas and stuff for what you want to see happen here. That's what the chat's for. Um, but the key thing here is that your log line, right? Your pitch, if it's more broad and more interesting, then you're gonna make much more interesting frames in movies, right? So for 1930s expressionism, that's perfect because it's literally just it's gonna give us so many unique results. So let's open up the next one here, and all right. So this is very much like Attack of there's so many like alien invasion sort of spoof films from the third and like I would say like the 40s and 50s that would be like this. They just everyone wears some sort of funky outfit that they all match, and suddenly we're all the Buzzlordians and we're all here to to enslave the human race. Yeah, it's fun. Uh, I'm always a fan of Doctor Caligari stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll see I'll see what happens when I prompt that. Um, the what we're using here is a combination of Midjourney and PikeLabs, and so we generate our imagery with Midjourney, and I just like their brain the most. Their machine mind is the my preferred use or my preferred one to explore. But Pico Labs is a wonderful animator specifically for 2D animation, and I'll get into some of that later. Um, but what we can do here is I'm just gonna run this real quick. So I have a Discord where everyone kind of contributes to, and we this is where all the 1930s prompts are and stuff. We'll eventually build this into an actual short film, but um, the key thing here is that I have these lodges that are up here: the White Lodge, Black Lodge, and Red Lodge. Um, the Red Lodge is designed for television, like to try to recreate live action television. That's your pick on the top. Um, let's see here. It's it with the blonde lady at the table. Okay. Let's see. Boop, boop. The red. It's probably in the red. The 1930s. Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. I'll go back to that one real quick. Okay, cool. The blonde lady. Yeah, let's see which one was it. The blonde lady at the table. Okay. So that would be on the top. Okay. This one here, right? Yes. Okay. Sweet. We'll run this one really quick so we can kind of give it a full direction here. Okay, yeah, sweet. So the way that this works is it's very similar to Midjourney, right? But we first run into the and I still gotta I think I yeah I still got a couple of these to play, but we're just gonna run this as a slash create, so we're immediately writing prompts into this one, and I'm gonna add the image here really quick. I'm just dragging and dropping it into there. And so let's do a camera, and we'll do a zoom in. Um, and I know that there's like ways to spin the camera as well. So if we wanted to like twist it left or twist it right, we can do that. But you know what? I'm gonna say zoom out because it's gonna be a demonstration of outpainting within Pika Labs particularly. And I think zooming in is a little boring, right? It's just kind of gonna try to upres, the image a bit as it goes in. This will be a lot more interesting to see zoom out. And then let's give her some action here. What do you want her to be doing? Like I know that she's just kind of sitting with her hands at the table. Is she and I mean like motivation stuff. Like is she negotiating something? Is she threatening somebody? Like what is the action that you believe is here? Oh, okay. All right. So it's like she knows a secret or something and she's waiting on the person who's coming in in anticipation, expecting someone to just walk in. Yeah. So what we can do to kind of evoke that is I have to check whether or not we can actually combine the two, so let me do that really quick. It should be inside of the assistance here. Let me just read this really quick. Okay. So rotate, pan. All right. So it looks like we're gonna just do a pan left on this one and try to make it like someone's gonna come through a door. Um, because there is also rotate camera, and okay, cool. So let's go ahead and she's stealing herself. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up Pika again here. And then I'm going to write that we're going to do a pan left and then say um, he comes through the door behind her. And then we'll start off by say door opens. And we'll see if it just generates a door for us, like if it does the outpainting for us on this one. And just because I don't want to have to write all that again, um, I'm going to copy that ahead of time. Um, it's I probably forgot the image there. uh, so if you click out of it, sometimes it'll not include the picture. Let's go ahead and send that. And let's do another one, but this time we're gonna do a zoom out. Um, and just give her some basic direction, like um uh yeah, I would just say like waiting on someone. She's waiting on someone. Just we'll just write that. And I am going to apply a motion of 3 on that. It's not the max because the max is usually a little wacky, but we'll just write that here and see what kind of comes back. The while that's rendering, um, I'm going to open up one of our other ones that we got here. And that is this one here. So the synchronized swimming, like trying to get them to jump in there is like definitely destroying their anatomy. um, and I was kind of expecting some of this on the because the anatomy is already really wonky on the original picture. It's not going to fix anything, and in fact, it's going to exaggerate every problem. Um, one of the projects that I'm working on right now, it works a lot better because it has a singular subject in the middle. So this, I imagine the ones that we're running from Slime Cleric here will be better. So let's open up another one here. This is going to be a reroll that we did of the Naturalist, and it's more like he's the movement behind him is almost more interesting to me than the movement that they did on this one here. Pretty cool to see. Um, all right, and we got another one here. This one was the one we said prompting with walking by the riverside, camera pan right. So this is the first one I think that we included a camera motion. And so you could see here that although he kind of gets lost with longer hair with the last frame of it, it generated the rest of the like that's amazing. It was amazing that even if you just use the first half of this video, interesting how it looks like liquid bodies. Yes. So when you don't have a very clear subject, it's just gonna kind of guess. The smoke monsters are a very common thing with PikeLabs. I'll say that, like especially smoke around characters. So any fog, any smoke tends to become a subject inside the video. There's a little bit of fog in the background, and that's actually what's consuming him at the very end there. And there is a narrative use that I have for fog inside of my my series Beyond the Valley, because the thing about fog is that you can use it in AI imagery to be able to blend and merge imagery very easily. That's part of the tricks that I use in order to create very dynamic looking imagery with AI is that I just stack prompts on top of each other and then relying on blending modes. And if I have fog, I know that I will get a smooth transition in the imagery. It's my little like cheat code, and I used it for like the first 3 or 4 productions that I had as a narrative excuse. That's one of the things that Victor. Anyway, like it's fun. I recommend including fog in in images that you're going to be doing layering if you do not have a lot of experience with Photoshop and stuff like that. It just makes things a little easier. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here. We have our first result from door opens. He comes to the door behind. He camera pan left. Um, yes, you can use fog for transitions 100%, especially if you're going to have a like a dramatic exit or dramatic entry for a character. You can use the fog in order to the thing is right now you're seeing a lot of horror productions being made with AI because it's so easy to like make an excuse for the imagery that you're getting. But the next one that's going to come, and the next one that I'm really leaning towards for myself because I can see all this stuff coming, is going to be superheroes. It's going to be having some sort of power or fun OC sort of ability because of AI imagery kind of boosting your character's ability, like characteristics. This is not necessarily going to be true for everybody because there's going to be a bunch of people that are that are not even going to try AI imagery and see how their work expands or explores with it. But the ones that do are going to realize very quickly that they can that they can essentially turn their like little like doodles and stuff and their little character sketches, if not their completed character designs, into movies, right? That they can make entire narratives doing this. So I do expect that after this like creepy horror phase that we're going through with AI video, you're gonna immediately get into superpowers. Like that's gonna be the next big one. Really interesting because the guy that could morph into any other visage, so much mystery. Right. That there could be a lot of fun sort of villainry, right? This is one of the reasons that Victor is kind of like portrayed as a villain on R Comics and everything like that, is because I saw this like a year ahead of time. I was like, okay, if we're gonna be able to do anything, we're literally just gonna make ourselves these like souped up egotistical superheroes, and we're just gonna unleash them on the world. That was part of my prediction, and it's coming true right now. It's really crazy. But so we have all this AI video tools, but we need like a narrative to really like give it purpose and to make it something enjoyable for other people to consume, because this is more like dreaming for us right now. We're not actually doing anything that means anything. Like it's I'm not a guy that believes in symbolism and dreams. It's like random neurons firing from your previous experiences, and AI imagery is very similar to that. So a monster, yeah. Let's go to the first like pan and zoom here that we got actually from this one here. So this one was the one with the door. So oh, she turns to look as if there's someone coming through the door. It is morphed up and screwed up. Hi. Hey Tina. Thank you so much for coming. And feel free to, follow and all that stuff if you want to see more wacky tobacco stuff like this. We're gonna be making movies. And you guys will be able to tell me what to make. Um, it's essentially the I'm just happy to be able to do this stuff with you guys. I'm feeling a little marshmallowy today. Yeah, she's definitely squishy. Let's go to the next one here. Um, looks like the other ones didn't render, so I'm going to go ahead and um rerun this one a couple times. Um, but this time we're gonna say the zoom out, and any prompt that does have smoke or fog comes up with really cool results. I'm not using Runway ML. I'm using PikeLabs. I'll actually link you something here. Um, they like my work. They like the kind of stuff that I do. I make comics normally, and I use their stuff to make video assets. So you can click that link, and that's an invite to PikeLabs if you want to play around with this stuff yourself. We're doing 1930s expressionism right now, but I will be getting into whatever you guys ask me to get into. This is just my library of stuff to generate. Your meta story concepts remind me of a cool anime about characters coming to life. Oh, I want to see that, man. Like if you got any recommendations, I'm 100% up to check out anything you guys have that you've watched that you recommend. I am a bit older than most people that tend to join my stuff, so I have seen a lot of content. But it is I'm always open to more of it. It's also kind of funny how many of my recommendations just do not land with Gen Zers. I'm really happy that most folks like Secret of Nim. That if you don't like Secret of Nim, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like there's definitely something wrong with you if you don't like that movie. Let's see here. Come to life, undefined void, Victor. Yeah. I Part of the reason I went with a character that is as dark and as black as this when it comes to the outfit, black shirt, black pants, black hair, blah 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 blah. One of the reasons I did that is because it really pulls from Leighton's face in a way that I like. Um, he's based off some character sketches a little, but if you draw at all, you know what a doodle buddy is. It's somebody who you like, distracts you while you're taking tests and stuff because you keep doodling it on the side of the page. That's Victor. Like Victor was my doodle buddy. He is now fleshed out completely with anime stuff, but um, I do have a 20-year creative background, and I'm definitely exploring AI imagery very liberally right now because I feel like I can thanks to this Victor character. Um, so let's see. People's beliefs are what empower the characters. At one point, they were write a fan fiction to buff their hero. Yeah, I'll say this, when it comes to like OC stuff, I gotta get rid of this marshmallow lady. I gotta finish this prompt really quick because I don't want to keep staring at this squishy lady. Let me just zoom out and let's just give her let's just smokes a cigarette or whatever. PikeLabs is a much smaller company than Midjourney, right? So I imagine whenever it misses a code or a command like this, I'm mostly expecting it. Um, I'm mostly expecting it to be because it's much smaller, much less servers. But I do think we got another one here, so I'm gonna open this up, see if it's different. Yeah. All right. So this one is an example of where the motion wasn't very high, and I think it was. Yeah, I didn't write any motion in the command, so you could see that by not forcing a higher motion, we got a more usable shot. Yeah, there was a lot of motion in the previous one, but that motion was useless. Like that was we were literally making fun of her for freaking 2 minutes about how squishy she looked. This, on the other hand, is a very usable opening shot to a black and white 1930s film. You know, so this one is a good one to save. Um, we just got another one in, so we're gonna open that one up really quick. Isn't it cool that we're kind of like watching this? The okay, so in Hollywood, it's called the dailies. When you watch the dailies, it's the raw takes of all the footage, and not many people should ever see the dailies because it ruins the magic for everybody else. Even the people that are on the production. So like I there's certain people that really should never see the dailies, and the thing is that with prompting, we are seeing all the possibilities of where this could go. Okay, so look at this. All right, it added some smoke behind her. This prompt was smokes a cigarette. That's why there's no cigarette for her in the video, right? So it doesn't like that we forced an action onto her that doesn't make sense for the imagery that's there. So why don't we do this really quick? I'll show you guys how this works. So we can run what is called /animate, which has no prompt. It's just image interrogation. And this is an example of why I tend to prefer image interrogation. Um, we are going to see what what PikeLabs believes is happening in this shot, because it's a much more understandable shot. I mean, yes, there's definitely some murkiness with how dark her hands are and with the gloves and stuff. It's it'll basically create maybe some mishmashy stuff with the fingers, but it should understand the imagery a lot better. So we'll see how this renders here. Um, while this is happening, I'm gonna pop on over back to our Discord here, the Movie Machine Discord. Um, and if you guys want, I'll just post the link for it here. Um, under my website, victorgnarly.com, you can see that there's a Discord button on the corner there. That will send you to the invite here, and I'll just link it here. So if you want to see all of the 1930s expressionist storyboards that we built together, well, we didn't really build it; we generated it off of a basic prompt, but um, you can see them all there, and you can kind of like reply to them, so you can like give ideas for what's happening in them or whatever. And also inside of the images is the actual prompt that was used to make it. So you just click on the image and open it, and you'll notice that the file name is the prompt that was used. So that's pretty handy. Um, but when it comes to some of the environments in particular, this is where we can kind of get some fun results that might be usable here. And there is a couple furries, like people put in like furries inside of the prompts when we were doing stuff. So, if you guys want to see that, just let me know. But let's do one of these backgrounds here, and let's do the one with this, because this is a romantic, like romanticized 1930s thing. So I really want to see what this one does. So we'll run both of these here and hop ourselves back over to Pika. Um, so very quickly, I'll run an animate on this one here, the romantic one, and then I will also, even though this picture is kind of nonsensical, the vehicle in the middle doesn't make sense. I am gonna run an animate of just the environment establishing shot ones. When we were doing the Midjourney stream, we were discussing a lot about film terminology, because again, subjective derivative, AI works like what I try to specialize in, means that we're not referencing properties. We're not saying, "Hey, I want to make a fan fiction of Chainsaw Man or something like that." I'm very specifically not doing that. Um, that lets us be able to more truly not only believe that we're making original content, but actually have confidence that we're not going to be making something that is otherwise trademarked or whatever. It is true that I'm kind of blurring some definitions here, but it is important. When people like, okay, I'm stumbling on my words a little bit here, but like oftentimes the stuff that you see that is made by consumers particularly is going to be real objectively derivative. That means you can easily tell what they wrote in order to make it, right? Because it's just popular things. It's just Star Wars, it's just Marvel, it's just other proper names. If you avoid proper names entirely, if you use adhesive strips instead of band-aids, you get far more interesting results with AI. Just that is what makes my work look unique, and also gives it a style, is the fact that I reapply my human authorship as much as possible. So yeah, let's get into the videos though. Sorry, there's a little bit of a tangent there. So let's do the environment one first, and I'll open this up here, and boop boop. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. It's a little bustling little city there. Yeah, that's great. I dig this one. This one's fun. Um, all right, let's get the romantic one here. Oh, that's cool. All right. There is obviously some wackiness to it, and I just realized that she kind of has cat ears. So some of our streamers who or some of the people who've joined our streams before oftentimes prompt cat boys and stuff. So getting cat ears on stuff tends to get people a little excited, I guess. But that's pretty fun. And now we're gonna kind of explore remixing this stuff and really trying to, you know, direct something here. So I think the romantic ones will let us be able to direct more about the actions of the characters more directly. So let's hop on over to let's see here. Now we're going to hit the remix button on this one, and I'm going to say uh, whispers a deadly secret into her ear, and I have no idea whether or not Pika does the same thing that Midjourney does, which is Midjourney it relies a lot on literature specifically. It relies a lot on uh, this kind of like poetry of word relations, and so oftentimes, especially for my series, the first two episodes of the series, Beyond the Valley, uses the prompt "heavy fog, tide is out." Which is a little bit of like a poetry segment that I used to continuously make the barren beach fog that I have known in Northern California and stuff. Is it's eerie. It's definitely my preferred state of being. I really like spaces like that, and wherever there's a lot of fog, I'm usually a pretty happy person. So um, that was what I used, and that created an entire world for me to inject my characters into. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can actually watch all the character streams. So if you want to learn how to like make continuous characters and stuff, it's on there. So let's go ahead and finish this deadly secret in her ear, and I'm gonna copy that so that I can then run it again. But this time I'm going to add um, let's do camera zoom in. And I want to check really quick under the commands here for I rarely use the rotate ones. So I want to kind of experiment with those here. We can abbreviate for anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, and rotate clockwise. Okay, so I'm just going to say camera rotate ACW, and we're going to see what we get out of that one. And let's come up into here and remix that one. And this one will be camera, rotate, ACW. Buttons will be very useful for this soon. Oh wow, there are commands. Yes, yes. Not only are there like what I was the only thing I was reading was the update, right? The update on the commands. Okay. There's a whole lot of commands for PikeLabs. Particularly, I think in the channel that I'm in, it's forcing the max frame rate of 24, but by default it's 8. I mean, I honestly like outside of just helping the servers out, I don't see any reason to drop below 24. But there's a bunch of codes that are on there that I don't know. Uh, I should probably look them up. But we can now take a look at these two here. So this one's whisper. This one's just the whispering prompt. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Oh, it's a lot more subtle. Look at that. It's a lot less like wacky, right? And again, like this is the kind of stuff that's going to be more usable when you start talking about making a film, right? Like you want like this we could ramp up in speed and it wouldn't be that upsetting to see, right? It would look right. So let's open up the next one here. This is the one where we said camera zoom in. She's way too stiff in this one, but you could overlay the other one to make it work. But it does give emphasis on whatever he's saying to her, right? So that's good. That's a good one here. At least good enough anyway. Um, and then we have the anti-clockwise rotation. So let's give that a try here. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, we got some weird big head stuff going on here, but I understand what it's doing here. It's not seeing the background as like, as parallax as it should be. So we're going to actually just rerun this one. But I do like what it's doing. I do like the fact that we're getting a little bit of a Zolly effect on this. Um, so a Zolly, I've explained Zollies too many times on these streams, but a Zolly is like a zoom and a dolly at the same time. A dolly is where you're moving the camera physically, like inward or outward from the subject or whatever. And a zoom, right, is in the lens, like you're it's in the camera. You're actively pulling the camera lens forward or back in order to zoom in or out. um, if you if you dolly in but zoom out, or dolly out and zoom in, right, at the same time, it creates a parallax. It creates like this wobbly perspective thing that usually in film and movies, especially in fantasy adventure action stuff, it can be like I'm traveling through time, or oh my god, I stopped time. That like it has it. You would never see that normally in real life, so it's a good effect for that, and it's oftentimes overused, honestly. But it is fun. Um, let's see what we got for this one. So this is the reroll of that. Oh wow. Okay, this is interesting. It's like they're almost falling into a dream. Oh, you know what it is? This is the moment where it's like you can wake up now, and then she ends up in bed, right? Right. It's like I can imagine this, like they're doing a romantic dance together and she is so happy and having a great time and everything like that. And then he leans into her and just goes, "You can wake up now." And she is, as that statement is being said, you're just watching the bed being formed behind her as she's falling into the bed or whatever. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I love any sort of storytelling like that. So this is definitely a keeper. Um, not like I'm ditching many others. Hi, I want to offer a promotion of your channel, viewers, followers. Okay, no, 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 no. Whoever. Okay, I'm going to. Um, how do you get rid of people? I don't know how to get rid of people. There we go. Um, let's ban this person. Boom, you're banned. Okay, cool. I've never done that before in my stream, so yeah. Goodbye. Uh, freaking freaking advertisers. Like I don't like the idea of, if I'm going to make money with AI imagery, I'll tell you right now, I'll make money for like charity. Like that's what I want to do. If I don't want to like make promises that I can't keep, right? But I definitely want to use AI imagery and video to make like nonprofit films for like charities and stuff. I think that would be probably the best use for it, because like if we can essentially make it that everybody donates gets a prompt to be able to control the movies that we make, would be really not only a great way to fund money to charities and stuff, but it could make sure that I would be able to keep doing this kind of stuff. um I think that is the most realistic, but maybe by Halloween I have a couple of productions lined up. For people who are new here that don't really know who I am or anything like that, my name is Victor Gnarly, and I am a cartoonist, um, both traditionally and with AI. I have a background in visual effects and entertainment, Hollywood, and my work, is there's a very good chance you've seen my work. Let's just put it that way. There's a very good chance. um, It basically, when you get invited to Skywalker Ranch and all this kind of stuff for what you've done, that's when you can go, okay. There most likely there is a percentage of people who've seen my work, so that's that there. I'll leave it at that. Um, but I took a big old hiatus from making entertainment, and it was AI imagery that was like, okay, get your sketchbook and start drawing again, because you're going to be able to use AI to make entire movies with your ideas now. Um, so it's been about a year and a half now that I've been doing this kind of stuff, but only recently has my stuff getting noticed. Uh, and I get it. I get that there's a lot of like controversies related to AI right now, and you're more than welcome to talk to me about them. By the way, like I can be pretty candid about this stuff, but at the same time, like I have run into basically just about every opinion you can imagine. Um, at this point, it not only that, it is more, at least for me, it's a form of training for me to be able to kind of like at least argue the because I'm oftentimes with an opinion that people don't expect. A lot of people don't really get that the fact that I really don't like AI art. Um, AI art is such a gross term for me, because there's always a human behind it. You know what I mean? Like we're generating imagery right now. Even when we do this video stuff, we're still just generating imagery. It's not art until I've assembled it into a film, until I've put it together or curated it into something. We need to start saying the right words with this stuff. It's not art. It's not art at all. If we need to make art out of it, it's just our tool to make the art. So I don't like AI art. It that's that's a good starting point for that. Slime Cleric. I tired adding some narratives to pictures in 1930s chat. Is that the kind of narratives you were talking about? Let me see here. Boop. Oh yeah, perfect, perfect. Yeah, this is great. That's exactly what I want to see people doing. I want to, and I'll pull this up here real quick. You've taken like you've created plot elements out of these images and stuff, and that's exactly what I want to see people doing. Where all everything that people write, like, understand that the power of language is super, like particularly literature is immense. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open up the images. Let's just start with the Golden Girl here. This is a little. We are going to do this one a little later, but I'm going to start off with the one where you've kind of built up a multi-image kind of pitch here. Okay. So, and I haven't even read it yet. I'm just kind of buzzing towards this at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open them in order. Okay. Because I'm not sure if you had a particular order in mind, but we're going to do it in order here. And the thing is that where this technology is going is eventually you'll be able to give it not just an image to go figure this out and make it move. You'll be able to give it the beginning and the end of the frame of your shot. That's where we're going to be going with this stuff, at least in my opinion. So you could say, all right, here's a picture where I've in painted the character to be like running towards the camera. And I have another generation of that same image where the character is much farther away from camera. So one of them's the beginning and one of them's the end. I want you to figure out everything in between. And that's in animation, it's called the in betweens. When you have keyframes and then you have in betweens. The keyframes are like the main poses for the animation, and then the in betweens are the frames in between those, right? Kind of self-explanatory in that regard. Um, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop back over to PikeLabs, and we are going. And I have no idea what other people are doing, but they're all part of the same feed here. So you might be seeing little sneak peeks of other people's projects, particularly other super collaborators like myself. So if you click on the invite link, I see that there's now 7 folks here. So I'm gonna pin this message here. Um, I'll yeah, okay, yes. It's now been pinned. Um, that is an invite link to PikeLabs, so you can start messing around with this. You will have a watermark on it, right? And that's just to get the I imagine there's multiple reasons why they want to watermark all the stuff right now. But the let's see. Question is Pika private or can everyone see our stuff? You can DM the bot on PikeLabs. So if you don't like that being public, you can have it only for the Pika staff to see what you're doing. That the thing is like I don't know if they have a slash private or anything like that, but you can get it to where at the very least you can DM the bot so your cringy ideas don't get publicly broadcast to everybody. Alrighty. Let's do some of these here. So what I'm gonna do, and this is me just kind of messing around right now, but what we're gonna do is we have these in an order here, and I'm gonna open up Notepad because I need to actually grab what you wrote. And here we go. And you know, Pika Labs is just outputting 3 seconds of video, right? Just something like that. And what we can do is come back to Pika. I have it now pasted in a document here. We're going to grab this here and we're just going to let's add a prompt to it and we're just going to write everything you wrote into there. Oh, okay. Right. I got to get rid of the images parts of this text here. Let me. Okay, so we're only going to use the starting sentence that you wrote here. My bad. That's going to be a better way for us to do this. So now I'll grab this here and come to images, post this one. Boop. And then we'll do that again for the next image because you said it was for images 1, 2, and 3. So we'll do that, paste that again here, and then drop this next image in there. And now the third one. And the thing is, it's just 3 seconds of video, so there's not enough time to fully illustrate what you've written here. But at the same time, um, I think that we are able to. Someone's kind of freaking out because I'm able to render so much stuff. I think it's okay. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. We can do it together. But now what I'm gonna do is on the last 2 images here, we're gonna use the second sentence that you wrote here, and create, and copy that sentence into there. Grab the image, boop, and paste that into there, boop, and then we got one more to do, and then we'll be able to start remixing the results in order to give it camera directions or anything like that. But for now, at least we're going to get a raw result from everything here. Cool. All right. So let's see what our first 2 results are here. I'm just going to open this down here. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, he blinks. We got him to blink. Look at him. He's blinking. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. So, we're making movies. Okay, this is awesome. Let's go to the next one. Uh, all right. So, let's see. We have a little bit of a head movement on his part here. So, you could see we didn't really get a lot of motion, right? But we can actually recreate what we would imagine this shot would start off as, right? So if we got him blinking, the background motion is interesting, but since we got him kind of blinking and looking at the camera here, like in the last shot, let's actually have it be that we are zooming out of this. But because we have to start off with the beginning frame, we can do this in reverse, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write this as a remix, and then I'm going to say zoom in. And the reason why camera zoom in is because in our editing software later, we can reverse the footage. Okay. So this is how you are able to say characters are running into frame or running or otherwise jumping into the image is you know you're going to reverse the footage later, so just make them jumping out of the picture rather than jumping into it. It does mean that sometimes you get some weird direction of gravity and movement, but you already get weird direction of gravity and movement as it is. There's a good chance that you're going to get a very usable, workable model out of that. Yeah, that's fun. But we'll let that render here. But we have our third image here, so let's go ahead and download that. Cool. My dog just decided to start barking. All right, so we have a little bit of jibber jabbering, from this guy here, and a little bit of head movement too, just a little bit. But there's not a lot there. But there's also not a lot of direction that is being said. It says, a city detective, mob enforcer, and a local lush telegraph beeping has been found of its source. Like that doesn't really indicate too much about like what's actually. And if we just keep zooming in and out, it's actually really disorienting for the audience, right? So he could be a lush saying, "Oh shit," right? Yeah, definitely. So like what we can do instead um is I think that this would probably make more sense for a pan. Okay. So I have no idea what the actual direction that we're going to be doing here, but we can actually make this look a little bit more like how we'd imagine entertainment. Okay. So, at least how I would shoot it. So, what we would do is write this as a remix again, and then I'm going to add camera, pan right, in order to bring the face more closer to center. So that at least for the eye line, it's a little bit easier to watch. Um, this is kind of a lazy way to drag eye lines and stuff. But what we can do as well is that we can actually introduce a new character doing this. This is where we're going to take some film direction. We're going to remix this again, but instead of trying to bring the face that already exists into center, we're going to try to create a new character. Okay. So let's do a camera pan left. Okay. But this time I'm going to replace the text with saying blurred over the shoulder and dark silhouette. Um, and then we could even add like some direction for the character that is in the frame, like some like negotiation or something like that. But let's just do uh, yeah, let's just say negotiation. Negotiation. And that's just to encourage the character to talk. I don't know if we need to do that. I don't know if we need to add motion to this, but at the very least, we're gonna get something out of it. So let's open up the next one here. All right. Oh, look at that. Oh, a little bit of a surprise there at the end. Neat. So he's kind of like fiddling or like kind of anxious to open whatever is in front of him right there. So that's kind of cool. Let's see the next one here. So this is the one with all the smoke and all this background stuff. It could be a little murky. Let's see. Oh no, that's pretty cool. A little bit of loss on the top of the forehead there, or top of the head anyway. But we definitely get the birth of a supervillain with this one. Yeah, it's this one's pretty cool. I like this one. Um all right, so this is the first one where we said the zoom in, okay? And again, this is the one that I am expecting that will end up reversing. Oh, that's cool. We have just a little bit of head motion, right? And now I'm like, I almost want this to be the narrator. You know what I mean? I almost want this guy to be the guy that's explaining the story or whatever. Um, So this is kind of I'm kind of a guy who's into shock humor and stuff like that, right? Or otherwise like things that are gonna imprint on people, right? Because I feel like that's the best way to be memorable. Um, I think it would be great to have a story that starts off with it where the narrator's simply explaining the story to you, and then the narrator dies. Like the narrator gets killed about maybe 8 minutes into the film, and you have to rely on the complete chaos of everything that happens afterward. And I think that makes a lot of sense for AI stuff, particularly because we can just have it be like, wait a minute, wait, the guy we were relying on to tell us how the world works just died. Shit. I think that could be fun. I created an AI video similar to this for a mixed reality techniques class this past summer. I would love any feedback. Oh yeah, so I'll point this out too. Now that you brought that up, inside of my Discord, there is a media share channel. Under the media share, you can actually post your projects and stuff. But I'll open this up so it's a little more obvious. But the media share includes also like the comics that we make together, and includes music that you guys like and the stuff I like to listen to and stuff too. Um, but I really want to emphasize though that we just opened up a new channel, and it's called the Talent Hub. Currently, there's no one that's posted in it, but the Talent Hub is it's not uncommon for it to be empty, especially as we're just starting it, because it's somewhere where I expect you guys to actually delete or otherwise edit your posts, because it's kind of like a job listing. It's a place to say, hey, I really like doing this kind of stuff, and if you want to work on something with me, post it and stuff like that. Yeah, especially like try to keep it as much like condensed to one post or whatever when it comes to like think of it like a resume. You know what I mean? Like you want it to be a place where, especially if you have like your best work, that's where you want to include it, is in the talent hub, because then people are going to go, okay, I want to make stuff like this. So maybe I can get a gig out of it or whatever. Um, there's no real money to be made in AI imagery right now, but there will be, and it's going to be really big soon. So I really recommend people already start to build up this sort of like reputation and stuff. But yeah, so those are the two channels I recommend. If you just got a bunch of content that you want to drop that you want to have people check out, that would be for media share. And when it comes to the talent hub, it's more like a singular job listing. So if you post like 8 or 10 things into there, I'm gonna probably end up like condensing that all for you and then telling you to stop. uh, you know, it's definitely meant to be like everyone gets one post on that. And so just feel free to edit your posts in the future in order to say, what you exactly want to do. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up Pika again. We're gonna go back to our videos here. And we are gonna open up the next one here. And we'll be able to do some stuff with this one where he slowly zooms in. We're gonna make him talk. I think that's gonna be, like I said, if he's gonna be a narrator, we can make him talk. So, but let's open up the next one here and see what we got. Oops, that's the wrong one. All right, so this is the one where I said we're gonna pan right. And this is to bring the character more into the subject, or to otherwise his you don't need a character talking in order to keep it as valuable footage, because remember guys, like if you cut footage and you're only looking at the person who's talking, you're doing it wrong. That's the you can it's the that is like the laziest way to do video editing, is just to focus on whoever's talking, because now in this particular shot, right? What if the person he's talking to is saying some really damning information to him, like something that's really really going to upset him or whatever. We care about his reaction. We don't care about the person who's saying that stuff unless like we've established that character before, right? So ideally you want to stare at the people who it's most important to stare at. If whatever is happening in the scene is impacting somebody, that's who you should be looking at, not the person who's talking necessarily. So this is like I would almost imagine like you're this is the cops and we're here to give you an eviction. You know what I mean? And he's just like, God. Just something like that, something along those lines. All right, let's open up the next one here. This is the one where we're going to be trying to create a silhouette on the side. See what it did here. All right, so it more applied a silhouette on top of him, so that's not what we wanted. But you could see that at least the pan left obviously worked. It's just a little bit of a blink and just kind of chaos. This doesn't really make much sense on that one. So what I can do though is I can actually write a remix here, and we're just gonna force a motion of 4. That's just the maximum that you can on PikeLabs, and we'll just see if we get some sort of like guy that just kind of wobbles in. You know what I mean? Like we'll see what happens there. There's a lot of just this dude. The one thing I will not do, all right, is play random people's videos. It's tempting sometimes. Like some people are really making some really cool projects here, but not only am I streaming live for a bunch of for a handful of random people, and I really do thank you guys so much for joining these streams. It's super fun to actually to be able to make projects together and do this kind of stuff. But when it comes to other people's stuff, I don't know who these people are. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea if there's somebody who's like really problematic that's inside of the stuff, and I just don't want to broadcast that stuff. So you might see the occasional like, you know, boobs or whatever, but then like I can't control that. I just have to like move on as quick as possible. So I'm going to leave it as just you get some old men every once in a while, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. I won't click them though, so you can at least be relieved to know that I won't click on all the old men that pop up in these streams, um, unless I end up prompting my own shirtless old men. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. This is the one with the motion 4 now. You can see it only takes like like 20 seconds, 30 seconds to render the video. It's really fast. But we're gonna swap on over to this here, and that is not it. That is actually the previous one. Now we have this one. Oh yeah, so this is what motion 4. You can see, oh, we got the silhouette, but it's completely wrong in terms of the size. There is something interesting about this though. You have a transition. You actually have the transition that you can use. Like, okay, let me try to visualize this with my mouse. You take another run of this footage, layer it here, and then pan that to the right while this is movement, and you basically get a an organic wipe. So I can actually make that for you guys really quick if you want to see it. So basically, whoa, it's like a composite optical printing. Yeah, there's some weird wonky stuff going on with his face there, but we can actually make this work. So let me show you. I am trained on After Effects. That was the program that got me everything I that I did. So we're gonna use After Effects today in order to kind of composite this shot here. So let me go ahead and close out this footage here. And the thing about this is that After Effects is really best done on a much bigger monitor than this, but we're gonna make it work. Okay. So first thing I need to do is I need to grab the video that we just made, and I'm dropping this into the projects here, and we'll make a composition of it just by clicking and dragging that over here. I'm going to get rid of my Lumetri here. All right, so we have the footage here, and here's the timeline. Okay, you can see we got the wonky face at the end here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take another one of these renders, and it looks like I have 3 others. So I'm going to drag those all into here. Okay, so we have one below. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to look at this one first. That's the one with the smoke in the face. So we don't really want that one, I don't think. Yeah, this is the one where he's talking. I like that one a lot. Let's see what this one is. Okay, and this one's the pan over. And I think this one actually could be the perfect one for the menacing entrance into like, if say like this is the guy who's going to burgle, right? He's get ready to get burgled, because we're gonna get burgled. Let's try it with this one. We'll see if this one works. The thing is that as we pan over to the right, we're probably gonna lose our pan left here. It doesn't really make sense to keep both. So we'll make do on that. It would be easier to use the other one, but I like how he's kind of leaving the frame. It's like he's moving backwards here. So let's go ahead and jump back over to our video here. Okay. So this is the raw video. It's just one layer here. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the other footage that we got. This is the one of the pan, and he's going to kind of duck away there, right? What we're going to do is we're going to actually um, give us a little bit of opacity here so I can see through them, right? And we could also like run blending modes to control this a little bit differently. But what I want to do is I want to keep the faces parallel, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit on this one, position, scale, rotate. I always click those three on. You don't have to. We really just need position here. But you could see where the face gets all blown and distorted here. We're going to keep on moving until we get to the end of the timeline. And we're just going to shift that face back over to here. Okay. And we're going to see if it kind of stays in the right place for this. And it looks like what mostly did, we need to kind of assist it a little bit here. So let's do it here. And is that smooth enough? I think so. I think we're good. I think we're good on that one. So let's go ahead and reintroduce the opacity. Perfect. Okay. So now what we want to do is, now that we have this sort of transition, you can see that it's like we might be able to make this even a little more interesting, because here's the thing, and this is one of the reasons that I was so excited about doing this particular prompt of 1930s expressionism and why I picked it from the crowd, because we had like 12 or 13 different suggestions. Just like the fog that I was doing earlier, we can use noir in order to assist our blending modes, in order to make the blends look really, really good. Okay. So first thing I want to do is I want to take a look at what this looks like with just a mask. Like if I come into here, we can see this is the edge of the frame here. I'm going to make a mask for this. And then in the mask properties here, I'm going to say subtract. And that's going to let us basically say everything that's inside this mask, we do not want to include. Okay. So I'll add a feather, which is going to blur the line. So it's not a sharp line anymore between the two pieces of video. And I can now bend this mask to match whatever is kind of an object or something to wrap around here. So here we just have this kind of like slightly angled line for the doorway. Let's just bring it as close to that as we can and see if we can kind of bring in a little more context of the other video into this. So let's play this and kind of see what that does. And it may seem pretty subtle, but now we have a little bit of like emotion that kind of pops up here. It doesn't really tell us anything beneficial though. It doesn't actually like really tell anything new for the story or otherwise like for the audience. And there's a little bit of a drag here at the end. Like we actually want to correct a little bit of this, see how the head keeps moving when there's nothing moving otherwise. We can fix that really easily just by going into position here, add a keyframe for where we start to see it kind of jolt out like that. And I'm just going to delete the frame at the end there. And boom, it holds in the right spot. Just like that. See how clean that is? And so what I want to do now is I want to take that mask that we made earlier and I want to pull it to exclude that part that we included there, or that kind of got seen there, because it was just a bit of just distracting shapes. And here's where you really get the most benefit of using After Effects. These masks let you be able to control the chaos inside of your AI imagery. You can basically say everything that doesn't make sense, that is going to be distracting, you can just mask it out. Okay. So it's pretty common for there to be like people to use like, oh, it's AI video look, it's the AI video aesthetic. I'm not gonna dog on anyone for digging like how that looks, but understand the reason why it looks like that is because you never finished the video. You didn't actually complete the video. You didn't actually mask out the parts that are too chaotic and distracting for the audience. So um, yeah, and Premiere is okay for doing this, but you're going to get way better control inside of After Effects. And then if you start to level up from there, going into Nuke and other advanced VFX programs, you can go real far with this stuff. There's a reason why Hollywood visual effects people are the only ones that are like super excited about AI imagery. But now that we have a good mask on there, um, you can see how clean the result is here. And we might want to adjust how the camera pans into there. But at the very least, now that I hit render on here, we can see that there is like a very clean sort of like, we could almost make this like the opening credits for the film. You know what I mean? Like it's like Movie Machine presents or something like that. You just have the titles be somewhat that moves with the head here a little bit. Or maybe it gets revealed by the pan over there. But here's the thing. All right, so we've constructed this scene, but maybe we want this scene to keep going. You know what I mean? Let's try to keep this scene moving, right? So in After Effects, I'm just gonna, now that I'm happy with this, there we can go to the very end of the composition here. Find what frame that is here. Yeah, we're at the end. We've confirmed that we're at the end. We can now go into composition, save frame as, and then save that frame, and we're going to inject that back into Pika. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab. I'm just going to put this in my Reddit folder. Why not? We'll just put it in the Reddit folder. Um, so I'm just going to export that really quick as a PNG file so that it will easily go into. Hold on a second. I think I have to hit render on it. Yes. There we go. Ah, loud noises. So as you said, I like that there's a shadow in the curtains to the left. Yeah, right. It's pretty cool to see like all sorts of little movements that we probably didn't even notice before. Um, but now that I have this here, I should be able to open this up. And yeah, so this is the last frame of the video that we are currently working on. We are just going to export that as a PNG inside of Photoshop here. So I'm going to again go back to my Reddit thing here and save that out. And we could have done this from After Effects too. We could have just saved it as a PNG, but I I oftentimes rely entirely on Photoshop workflows. So now what we're going to do is we are actually going to continue that action here. So we're going to hit create. I'm going to pop this over here. There we go. You guys just get more old men shoved in your face here. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna scroll back up to our prompt here that we knew that worked. We got like some movement and stuff that we liked with motion 4. I'm gonna copy that, paste that prompt, and then grab the new render that we got. Like I'm sorry, of the last frame of the video that we're working on. Okay, and I'm just gonna hit enter on that right off the bat. But we're also going to do one where we have pasted this in here, and now we're going to take the new context because we're working on now a new image. We're going to take the context to this image and start to describe maybe what happens now, like as we pan left, right? Right, left, yeah. As we pan left, we'll just say a blurred, like a silhouette of let's see, yes, a silhouette of a man breaking into a home. Let's just do that. Let's just say like what I was joking about earlier. And we'll leave motion 4 on there as well. And then include the image. Okay. So let's print that and see what happens. Okay. So we have our first one here. This one is just the negotiating pan left. This is where we literally copied the same text we had before. So it's going to do the same action, same camera move, all that stuff. Um, but we are going to see what it added. Oops, why did it open it down up here? There we go. Oh, let's see what it did here. Oh, it's like a meeting almost. Like it splits into two people. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, you could easily mask out like the darkness in between them so you can still use this footage, but I would just keep re-rolling until you get something a little more interesting than this. But let's see what the other one did. This is the one where we gave it new direction where we're like breaking into a home. Uh, again, I'm diverting off of your story here, man, but I'm just wanting to show. Oh, we got a gun. We got cut. Yeah, look at that. We got a gun. So that's pretty cool. Um, we his face, like we could easily just darken it and leave it as a still there. So there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But he's definitely going through with a weapon here. That's super interesting. Um, let's actually lean in on that too. So like let's write that this one is, and I'm not going to worry about. Yeah, here we go. There you go. Let's write that silhouette of a man, so, silhouette of a um investigator, or sorry, of a private detective entering a home. Let's just write that whole thing and see what it does. Um, and then in general, the kind of stuff that we're able to make with this. Which, by the way, I'm just going to remind everybody really quick. I don't know if everyone here has been sticking around or not, but in my pinned messages is an invite to PikeLabs. So if you do like this kind of stuff and you want to make a couple of your own and share them with me, just click on the pinned message here. Um, and I'm trying to get a link that isn't in the pinned messages. There we go. That's how I can do it here. There we go. Reposting it here. If you click that, you'll be able to join and check out all the basically a watermarked version of what I'm doing, and we can see if we can make a movie together. I think this is a super cool idea. So let's download this one here and see what we got. Oh, it's like curtains opening too, yeah. So it's definitely seeing some kind of curtains or something out of the footage that's here. And I believe we've already seen this one, but I'm going to open it anyway, just to be sure. Yeah, this is the one with the gun. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to run one more with just animate, where um, I am not doing anything except just telling it, hey, figure this out. And because we already have a pan in there, though, I definitely do want to add at least um, one command, which is the camera and then pan left. And this should get us an interesting result. At least I hope so. um, so at this point, I'm also going to link my Discord one more time because um, the feel free to follow on Twitch and all that stuff. This is definitely a great way to interact with me and whatnot. And I was gonna play Pokemon, but I'm already at the 2 hour point, getting about 10 minutes till. So I think I'm going to and it's my wife's birthday tomorrow, so I'm definitely not going to be doing much computer stuff for the day. But I really do dig you guys coming in and checking out what we got going on. I'm just kind of experimenting and showing you guys how this stuff works, and you guys can tell me and literally direct me, and I'm happy to generate it and see if we can make a movie together. But a lot of times, um, the results that we kind of get are chaotic to a point where we need to actually like kind of write around the results, right? So this is a temporary problem, and it'll just we'll see how it goes. But let's see what the result we got just by running pan left on here. Uh, thanks for playing with my images. Yeah, no problem, man. It's a lot of fun. So let me open this one up here. All right, cool. That's a lot better. Wow. Okay, yes. So this is literally just saying pan left and then animate it. Like make it real, right? Like make it move. Um yeah, no, this is rad. Uh oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll let her know that you said that, Tina. um but look at this. This is awesome. We got like a Mad Hatter like top hat kind of character now. So now that we have this though, we're gonna finish this shot. Okay, this will be how I end the stream. We're gonna finish this shot and then we're gonna post it to the Discord so everyone else can go. Okay, this is the opening of the movie. Or something like that. Uh, yeah, the shadows do confuse the direction that he's walking for sure. But what we're gonna do is we're going to open up our After Effects where we have this shot here. And now that we have the composition here, you can see that the composition ends at the length of the video that we currently have. Okay. So what we can do is we can just double the length of the composition. And 3 seconds becomes 6 seconds. And now we have all this extra space on the side here. And what we're going to do is we are going to grab that shot that we just really like, at least the one I really liked. And I'm just going to drag and drop that onto the last frame. And then we're going to zoom in and then overlay that. Okay. So now if I just kind of come into here, we can see that as I overlap these two here, it's basically the same frame. Okay. The one problem with this is that PikeLabs, this is actually how you make really, really clean results at PikeLabs when you're getting to the editing and construction side, is that you will always start, the video will always start off of the actual picture that you uploaded, right? So that means that for only a single frame at the start of the footage, everything is really high res because that's the original image you used to generate the video. So what we need to do in order to make this a truly smooth transition between videos, we actually need to remove that first frame and rely on the last frame of the video to give us a clean transition between these two. And you can see we even lost a little bit of luminance between the two renders. That's why this is, again, my character is black and white for a reason, guys. Okay, it's because it makes it a lot easier to do this kind of stuff, to fix these kind of blends. Okay, so picking 1930s expressionism, I was like, ooh, that's easy mode. Let's go in easy mode. I like making movies in easy mode. So like now that we have this, look at that. Look at that smooth transition between the two shots. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, oh my god, this looks great actually. So we're gonna hit render here and just kind of watch this shot for the first time. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. He like steps away. It's like in line with his motion too on the left side here. That's super cool. Yeah. All right. Rad. Okay. Cool. So at this point, we want to just confirm that we're not like losing any footage, right? And we know that because if I zoom out here, I can see the edge border here. So actually, it's even wider than that. I was playing it cut off. Let's see what it looks like full look here. Okay. Cool. So here's the thing. We do have some ramping that we need to do in order to finish this shot. You notice there's a bit of a click here at the end, and that happens because we did two different renders, right? And the pan is going to be it's going to be at like a different speed. Okay. So what we can do to compensate for that is we can actually ramp or slow down another one of them. So let's see here. I'm going to recommend, I just need to kind of actually think about this for a sec. Let's just let that play for a minute while I kind of like stare at it. Hold on a second. Let me just stare at this for about 30 seconds. All right. All right. This is going to be my recommendation. I like it when it moves slower than when it moves fast at the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to replicate the slower movement of the latter half of the video. Okay. So the way that we can do that is take advantage of the fact that we made the mask earlier. All right. So I will scroll down to here. And what we're going to do is we're going to slow down this ramp here at the end and kind of get that to more closely match. So we can do is, I think we could do this entirely with just position. So let's try that first. First thing we're going to do is just come into here, find our first position keyframe, move that over here. Okay, this is the wrong layer. There we go, this layer here. This one has no keyframes on it, so that's fine. We'll come to the last frame here. We'll turn on keyframes for position, scale, and rotation. And what I want to do is I want to actually bring it in closer and faster. Or sorry, I want to bring it in more this way to kind of compensate for how far away it is later on. So let's see if that automatically fixes what most of my issue is here. There's still a little bit of a click. You can see that click that's right there. And I'll zoom in a little bit so it's easier for you guys to see. We don't need all this information here. Okay. So it's almost like, you know, he's looking down the hallway as he's coming in here, but I really need the ramp to make sense here. So I'm going to get rid of what I just did. And you could see just how fast this movement is right here in terms of this pan. So I want it to stay to where there's, because it's not necessarily the pan that's the problem. It's the movement, I think. I think it might actually be perspective that's kind of fuddling with me right now. So we can try messing with time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ramp the time to where this kind of fast motion that happens right here is stretched out. You can see if this kind of helps that a little bit. Let's start it just from the ramp here. Yeah, it helps it a little bit. So let's go ahead and add a frame blend. We'll do pixel motion on there. That should help with some of the stutteringness that we're seeing. And I'm going to come into here. Make sure that's on the correct frame. Yep. And this one I'm actually going to pull out a little bit here, I think. So yeah, it's not perfect, but at the very least, we are seeing a bit more control of the image itself. Like I'm saying to the audience, like, this, what's coming up on the left side here is more important. But if we want the whole thing to be slower, we actually need to increase the time of the shot. For future movies, games, and dreams, this will be terrific. Yes. I will say, this is entirely subjective. I have no proof to kind of back this up, but I remember far less of my dreams since I got into AI imagery. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I feel like I'm more dreaming while I'm awake now. So maybe I'm just putting less emphasis on my sleeping brain. I don't know. But What we're going to do though is I'm going to bring this up here so we can kind of see all of our layers here. Um, we're going to go into compositions, settings, and I'm going to increase this to 9 seconds. And then I'm going to drag this up here, grab our 3 layers and bring it to the end. Okay, should be good with that. And now, with the footage that we have ramped here, I'm actually going to pull that all the way to the beginning, open that up, and you can see this is where I have the time ramp. So I'm going to try to bring that all the way to the end there. And I know this is a pretty long stretch for this video. And because we kind of screwed with the video before it, we also need to fix the top one. But I just want to see what this ramp looks like here. See if it's at all a stutter. There's a little bit of a stutter at the end there, and I think that because we have to actually fix the last frame of the video. But yeah, this is already a lot better because we can start to transition to the right at a slower pace. And now with this footage here, where we have to now account for our time difference that we've applied, we can actually stretch this one out too. So we'll stretch that to the beginning here. And you can see it's misaligned on it right now because we are fighting our previous decisions of where to ramp, where to move, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to bring this over to here just to kind of align it back to what it was before. And I think that actually works. So let's see how that is. Yes, yes, yes. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here is we are going to do a frame blend on this one as well. And we are going to fix this last frame issue that we saw here. This is because, again, like I was saying, there's a click that happens as you get to the end of this footage here. So what I'm going to do is, make this a little bigger for me to see it. I know you guys can't really see the timeline anymore, but at the very least, I can kind of get a better idea of where I might need to adjust a few things. There's a bit of a stutter in terms of where this pan really starts. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try to overlay those pans and see if we can get that to clean up a bit more. I think my dreams are just boring compared to MJ. Same kind of feeling though. That's funny. My wife is a vivid dreamer. She goes through entire lives while sleeping. I can't even. I literally can't even empathize. I just don't really remember my dreams much. But all right, let's go ahead and fix this little stutter that's right here. Okay, so we have to find out where it holds. So you can see that there's a little bit of movement when there's not supposed to be movement right here. So let's go ahead and just cut the footage. I think we can get away with some of that. Yeah, I'm going to see if we can just cut it. Maybe if we just move it up. I think that's actually good enough, honestly, especially for just demoing with the videos here today. But I am going to be sharing the After Effects file of this when I upload it to the Discord. So if you do have access to After Effects like Adobe Creative Cloud, you have After Effects inside of Creative Cloud. You also have access to Character Animator, so you'll be able to essentially replicate everything I'm doing here if you just have an Adobe Creative account. Now they lowered my price for it. I don't know if that's true for everybody, but I got an offer probably because the generative stuff was spooking a bunch of people. I got an offer to lower my account to buy about $15 a month. So it's much cheaper for me now, and that's great. But so okay, cool. So I'm just gonna kind of take a look at this transition one more time here. It is a little stuttery. Like I know that we could probably do better on that. It's just that shift right here at the end here. And it's a little tough for me to tell exactly where it is. So it's like right there, I think. And then what we can do is we can actually assign a null object to it in order to control just the two videos independently of each other. But for the sake of this here, I'm actually just going to first take note of the time code here and see if I can get away with just a position fix here. Because this, I can't assign them to each other because they each have their own movement, right? Oh, no, I can assign it because I didn't have any movements attached to this one yet. So let's go ahead and do that then. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, yeah, this one here. So this one's going to now be parented to this frame here. And so whenever that one moves now, it'll move as well. So I'm just going to get this to lock into the position of this in right here. So it's kind of, I do this in such a hacky lazy way, but I find the frame where it starts to move on its own, and then I put my finger there. and and what we're going to do is we're just going to um try to get it to stay where it is, right? So I will now grab this position here, and is this actually going to let me do this? Like, is it going to look good? No, it's not. It's not going to look good because I have to like cut it off to do that. So yeah, this is a mistake on my part. You can see, yeah, we got it kind of realigning there, but it's it's not what we should be doing. We should instead be ramping the other side to kind of compensate for our loss that's here. A lot of visual effects stuff for me anyway is a lot of fiddling in order to kind of get the final look I'm looking for here. But there's definitely a bit of like a stall that happens here. And to get rid of that stall is essentially just, you know, fiddling with positions and all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm actually going to render this one out, and we'll call it with this here. Just because I think it's not a jarring enough problem to be like big enough to where I'm going to obsess about this little glitchy part here. Um, but we'll be, again, I'm uploading the After Effects file, so you'll be able to also fix it for me, or I'll fix it for us later, you know. So yeah, I definitely need to get some food in me. I need to eat something. But let's see if I wonder if there's a gender difference in dreaming. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there probably is. I don't know. Very cool stuff. I think the glitch plays as a distortion. Yeah, and I don't really want to rely too much on narrative excuses for the visuals, right? And I say that specifically because it's kind of a pet peeve of mine when people are like we're making horror movies because the only thing we can generate is something that's scary. Like that no, that's because you just wanted to make something real quickly and you're relying on the first things you get, and they usually tend to be nightmares, you know. So like, yeah, I would much rather tell a more dramatic story, or you know, comedy is the true kind of tell of like human authorship if it's like legitimately funny, like it's everything is legitimately entertaining. That to me is like a bar that I have to, you know, set for people whenever I'm doing this kind of stuff. It's the reason I make comics, is because if you laughing at it, it's most likely because I applied human authorship to it. Um, if it, I get into that in another video of mine if you check out my YouTube channel. But okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna render this out. Um, and I didn't like rename any of the layers or do anything like that, right? So we're not gonna worry about that necessarily. You guys can figure out what 3 layers do. I'll let you figure that out on your own. But essentially, I will render an H.264, so just the video file of this, and you guys can see what that looks like here. So you want to make sure that if you're just going to upload stuff like for like archival purposes, like you just want to render a video out and stuff, H.264 is fine for this. The compression's not too bad or anything like that. But whenever we're doing proper like visual effects, so you want to make sure you don't lose any image data, you can export it as a PNG sequence, and that's basically just a bunch of PNGs. And that is a way better way to preserve your videos. It's not a video. It's literally going to be a folder full of pictures. So if you render out a 10-minute video out of PNGs, you will destroy your hard drive. Like it's not a good way to do that. But instead, we're just gonna save this sucker here. Um, let's go ahead and save that here. I'm gonna call this and noir, just noir. Okay, cool. So we have this H.264 rendered out. I'm just gonna hit play on here, and because the video is so short, it's gonna take like no time for it to do this. Um, Now, because we also want it to be kind of entertaining to look at on the Discord, because video files you have to keep hitting play in order to really see them, like to see them on repeat. So I'm also going to export a animated GIF of what we just rendered. So we can come into here, scroll up, and a lot of people make this mistake with After Effects. They click on GIF when it's gonna do the same thing as the PNG sequence. It's just gonna make a bunch of GIFs. So instead, we want to scroll up and go to animated GIF here. Okay. And then make sure we hit the one that says no transparency because we don't need the additional information for that. And because it's a pretty big video, as a GIF, it could be pretty big. So I don't know if it's going to be too big or not. But for now, we can come into here and just save that out and see if it's a file that's too big for Discord or not. It's pretty easy to get too big for Discord. H.264 is we didn't have that when I was getting started in entertainment. That's in comparison to everything else I worked with. That is a much newer codec than because we were using Targa files when I was working at Adult Swim. So like we've made massive improvements since then on video technology, and particularly with video compression. Um, but yeah, ancient Targas. Yeah, the ancient race of Targas. Okay, so we have this saved here. Let's see how big the file is. It is 38 megs, so I need to make that smaller for it to go onto Discord. We'll do that real quick here. So whenever I'm doing compression with GIFs, it's a real crapshoot about whether or not it's going to do a good job at that. So I use in Unity to create sprites, right? So what we're gonna do is, it's because it's like back in DVD HD, like 1280. It's 1280 wide. So I'm going to shrink that down to a DVD resolution. You guys are gonna have to live back in the DVD days, the DVD Tuesday. We're gonna render this at maximum, but I'm gonna render it at 720, which is literally half the resolution of that. And we're just gonna hit OK on that. And then I gotta rename it here. I'm gonna just save it as the same thing. And so at this point, by saving it as an animated GIF, and I know that it's half the resolution that it was before, it should be about half the data size. So we're probably looking at, I don't know, 18 megs or something like that on this GIF. We'll take a look here. 13 megs. That's even better. Okay, let's take a look at it here and see if it kind of glitched out on us at all. There's still that glitchy moment that I'm going to keep that's gonna bug me that I am uploading this with a bit of a glitch on the movement. But it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. So I'm going to go into yeah, I'll just pop this over here. I am going to go into our 1930s expressionism, and I am going to drag the GIF into there. And first animated, or first Pika animation, 2 clips spliced together by running /animate on the last frame um, of a Pika plus Midjourney render. I'm probably gonna reword that later, but at least it's up on the Discord. At least it's there. And because it's a GIF, it's going to be looping, which lets you actually take time and appreciate what's happening, because you can just sit there and absorb that shot. It's very much like whenever we were doing video editing, you just sit there and you just kind of stare at it and you kind of figure out how things blend together. So you end up watching timelines looping like this. Um, it's very Groundhog's Day in for the life of an editor, I can tell you that. Um, but we are also going to include the video file. I'll just go ahead and send that over. And now I need to export the After Effects file. Um, let's go ahead and get that. So whenever we're doing this kind of like export for for the project or whatever like that, you also need to compile the footage that was used to make it, because the file itself isn't like, just the project file will not save the actual footage you use. So what we need to do is I'm going to export it, and there's like proper ways to like package files and stuff. But I'm going to do it the lazy way. And I am going to simply um, I am simply going to save this project and then include the footage as a folder and then zip it all together. So we're going to hit save as, and I am just going to save this really quickly as there's a dog barking outside. Okay, all right. And I'm going to save this as noir 1930s hand shot. And we got that saved there. And now I am going to open that up here, and we are going to make a new folder, noir 1930s hand shot, drag that into the folder, and then I'm also going to grab all of the footage that we rendered. I think I can get that to compress small enough to be fine. But I am going to include just one folder with just the relevant files, so just the ones that we used for this project, so it's not too big when you download this. We'll go ahead and hit inside of After Effects. We can actually right click on a layer and go to Reveal, and then Reveal in Explore. Okay, so now the ones that I reveal are the ones I'm also going to copy over to this folder. So right click, Reveal in Explorer, and then while holding Control, I'm dragging it over and then copying it. We have one more layer here, and boom. Okay, so now inside of this folder here, I am going to compress it. So let's just add. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. That's fun. So we're gonna just compress that real quick here. I just use WinRAR, and I'll just hit OK, and that should compress it somewhere. Where did it save? Where did it go? Um, okay, yes. Um, Let's go ahead and open it wherever it's saved because I don't couldn't really find it there for a second. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is go back into Discord, drag and drop that, and say After Effects file. Have fun, and that will be just the project file. So if you want to like continue this movie or actually continue the shots and move them over, then it's all there. Um, the In fact, I think I actually want to include one more shot, which is the ending frame on there. So I'll just I'll just go ahead and include that inside the timeline here. So this is the middle frame between the two. So I'll just write middle frame used to stitch the two clips together is below. Boom. Okay, cool. And then the last part about this is I'm going to include every video that we rendered here today. Uh, Aesthetically slides through the door. Yeah, right. Yeah. Um, are we animating the shots already in Discord or the ones that we created? You can do whatever the hell you want, honestly. Just do whatever you feel like doing because I don't really have a project in mind for this one. I really want you guys to just kind of go nuts and do what you want to do. Um, it's one of those things where like my head's already like in 6 different places or 8 different places, so I'm reliant on your all's creativity at this point for this particular project. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab all the videos. So let's go. I'll sort by type here real quick. All the ones that I've downloaded anyway, and I'm just gonna grab 10 at a time, and we are going to just upload those real quick, all at once, so that you guys have everything that we made during this stream here. Um, I am limited to 10 files at a time, but the good thing is that all the files are small. That's honestly the whole reason that I did not expect this technology to really be possible, was because it's amazing what compression has made um, into making this sort of stuff possible. So that is all of our clips. Okay, cool. So we have everything up on our Discord now. So this is every shot, every video render that we've done. And there's about as many individual videos as there are like shots that we had referenced, maybe a little less. But with the Pika invite, with the video invite, feel free to just render and give like direction and stuff, because keep in mind, everything that you write for your prompts is saved, so you can go back and tell me what you wrote, or I can see it in the video file. So then I can recreate that without the watermark. And worst case scenario, if we just cannot, if you made something super cool and we cannot get in, like I can't recreate it without the watermark, then I will simply use my visual effects wizardry to remove it myself manually. And I'll show you guys how to do that on the next stream if you guys make something that you're particularly proud of. So yes, there are ways you can remove watermarks, and it's a lot easier now. And yeah, I'll show you all my wizard powers next time around. I'll end this stream on a little story. Um, so when I started getting into Pokemon Go, okay, I don't play it anymore. For a while there, I was real into it because there was a point where, if you, depending on what town you went to or what part of town you were in, certain Pokemon would spawn. And I realized, because I was traveling a lot at the time, that different towns had like different commons. So like Cincinnati was all fairy type Pokemon, for example. Um, the At our hometown was all grass types and stuff. Very interesting sort of stuff, was super fascinating to me at the time. But they nuked all that. They got rid of all those features. They actually decided, oh, okay, no, people want to play with like like a large diversity of different kinds of Pokemon around them. So they got rid of all what I thought was cool, which was the traveling part of it. And I'll so I used my visual effects skills. I abused my skills way too hard on basically what happened was that I was like Team Mystic, and I was like, okay, I am going to make a video that's just going to get everyone that's on Team Mystic in my hometown to get really pumped up. What I ended up doing was posting it onto like a local group or a local online group. I ended up just demotivating everybody that was on the other teams because my video was literally just like, we're gonna slam Pokemon Slam and Jam. Like I was mixing Space Jam and stuff and like Pokemon. And the thing is that it was all like locations in my hometown that we were like gonna be like, we're Slam, we're owning this part of town. And I was like, wait a minute, no one else on any of the other teams locally is going to have like an Emmy grade, like Emmy level visual effects artist, just ready to like ham down slam videos out. And so I had fun making it, but I definitely will not make that again because that was the most unfair. Like I literally came in there and was like, boom, break the door open, and like we have 2 minutes of just motivational humor for the one team. Yeah, it was too much power for sure. But I actually let me see if I can find that video really quick here because I know that I went a little ham with it, a little too ham with it. But I'm trying to think if I would even have it. I have to switch over to the couch just in case I end up broadcasting. I shouldn't something or another. Let me go ahead and grab just a sec. I think it was. Let me check my videos here really quick. I might still have it, which if I do, I'm gonna laugh. But oh yeah, okay. I have one of them. I know that I made like one or two of these before, but this is quite literally just me spamming. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? I definitely was like, okay, here's I know that the video I'm talking about in particular is not really here because it's just me like a bunch of hometown landmarks being referenced, right? I'm not gonna blast that here. That would just dox the shit out of me. But here's the thing, this is the one that I made to 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 get people hyped up. The problem was is I didn't send it to the other teams. I only sent it to the Mystic players. So let me let me open this up here. Uh it's gonna be a little surprising to you guys, honestly, in terms of the music choices and stuff. So all right, so that was my wiggle edit. Okay. um that video was like literally like just okay, we everyone's just about to get off of work and we want to take every gym in town, so like I was like, all right, spam that to everyone on the IRC chat or whatever we were using at the time. And a bunch of other team members on, they were like, there's a guy who's a try hard on Team Mystic that makes this suck for everybody. And I'm just like, oh no, they're talking about me, oh no. But yeah, so there you go. That's my wiggle video. I probably just got this stream copyright slammed or whatever from playing that, but I enjoyed it. It's worth it. So um uh yeah, I'm gonna end the stream on that. That sounds like a good way to end it with Pokemon Wiggle. But you all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for checking out this stream. This is really fun to actually have people hanging out throughout the whole thing and stuff. It's super cool, and I hope you guys come back the next Sunday. I also stream at Midjourney, like on Midjourney's Discord every Friday at 4. So um if you guys want to see a proper like educational stream on there, I don't curse when I'm on Midjourneys. At least I try not to. So but I do really appreciate you guys coming by and checking this out.